It's a 2001 Ford Super Duty. It's in mint condition. The other side looks as good as this. There's no dings or dents or scratches or any of that on it. It's 19 years old. It's had some body and paint work. Largely stock truck, has only the Banks exhaust. I put the Ford extra duty air cleaning system on it, and I put the Edge programmer in. Other than that, it's just had OEM normal maintenance repairs done on it. And that's what it's going to get today, because it's got a slight pull to the left on braking, and I have been through the entire brake system, front and rear, and it just I can't seem to get that slight leftward pull on braking out of it. I've changed everything, brake lines, all the rubber brake lines, all of the calipers, and you know, the whole shitteroo. I've changed all of it, and it needed it, you know, but now it's got this leftward pull, and it was fine for several hundred miles after all the last brake job and everything. And so I went back, then it developed this pull, and so it's a very slight pull. And so then I went back through and I rechecked all my work, and I replaced other stuff and threw a bunch of parts at it, and I still have leftward pull. I talked to just about every mechanic friend I know. They tell me that it's probably something like in my steering componentry. So it does have some excess play in the steering, I believe. A buddy of mine and I, we did the ball joints 2 years ago, so what, less than 20,000 ago. So those are new. Front wheel bearings are great. They don't have any play or slop in them. So the steering is about the only thing I can see that is subpar at this point in time. So let's just go ahead, and I have a sense of adventure. I've never done this job before. I'm no diesel tech Ron. I don't have his skill set. I don't have Musty's skill set and some of these other guys you see on YouTube. I'm just a home Joe. So without further ado, let's get going on it. This is that Ford extended duty air cleaner I was telling you about. It's got a big, thick element. This is the one they used on the Ford vehicles over in the desert for the military. And I don't know, kind of hinky about my turbo. I worry a little about that. So I put this on there. I had the K&N, which was horrible. The K&N filter, God, it was loud. Here is battery tray. Got 4 fasteners for the battery tray that need to come out, and it's gonna give us a pretty good bird's eye view of where, hold on, one-handed camera stuff. It gave us a pretty good bird's eye view of what we're dealing with down when it comes to getting at the steering box. The steering box is bolted below this intercooler deal, and it's kind of hidden. It's got 2 high pressure power steering lines that go from the high pressure pump, the power steering pump that's on the serpentine belt, turns the hydraulic pump, sends hydraulic fluid to the steering box, which turns the wheels left and right. So we're getting close. So next thing it needs to go is the turbocharger duct has to go. And that looks like that's going to take like a deep 10, maybe metric 10, 12. This is a U.S. truck, but you know, it's mostly metric, honestly. Oddly. This has coolant filtration. I put that on. I got that from dieselsite.com. And just free, not sponsored by anybody. I was a dude. Diesel Site. I ordered one from some operation. It was made in China, and it wouldn't, the threaded in nipple or whatever that's inside of here wasn't well secured, and when you'd pull when you'd try to tighten the coolant filter, it would just turn that whole assembly, and it was like the threads weren't the right pitch or something, so it wouldn't hold. I couldn't use it, so I had to take it off, and I had a hell of a time getting them to take it back, and they finally just told me to keep it and sent me my money back. And I got this one from Diesel Site, and this has got some miles on it now, probably maybe 25,000 that this system has on it now, and it's running great. It's third or fourth filter, and so kind of a weird thing. Do you need it? No, probably you don't, but it might be nice to have, because it's kind of, as I understand coolant filtration, it's more of an agriculture thing, where you're running in profoundly dusty conditions maybe, or extreme heat for hours and hours on end. And yeah, do you need it? No, probably you don't need it. But I put it on, and I was kind of thinking, well, what's it going to do, you know? And I have one of those cool pipe cutter kind of sort of cut oil filter open tools. Those are trick if you haven't got one of those. I mean, if you like to look inside your filters, I do. I mean, hopefully everybody looks inside their filters when, yeah, right? Most people go to Jiffy Lube. I don't go to Jiffy Lube. Look up Jiffy Lube fraud on YouTube, and you'll see. I'll probably get sued after this is over by all these people defaming all these companies. You'll see that Jiffy Lube had a habit, and maybe still does, of taking your money and not changing your oil. I suppose there's others that do that too. I mean, you know, if people don't know, they don't get to pull the dipstick out and look. So if you're going to go to Jiffy Lube or one of those companies like that, do yourself a favor. God, I feel like it's getting loose. Do yourself a favor and check. Watch what they're doing. Don't just sit there and read the newspaper while they do it, or you might find later on your oil really and truly didn't get changed. You know, I don't know if that's being done anymore, but I saw videos on YouTube about it, and they put little cameras underneath, and they were watching, and them guys weren't doing it, man. They weren't doing the work. Not all of them, I'm just saying, there's a few. I think this may have been in California, which sort of serves Californians right in some ways. Probably get bombed for that comment. I have a lot of use for California. Anyway, kind of remind me of California was right up there with the Chinese. I think some of those people down there are nuts. Crazy, crazy people. Getting this trim piece out of the way. It does nothing really. It doesn't do anything. It's just it says Power Stroke on it. It's just a piece of trim over the high HPOP, the high pressure oil pump. The 7.3 has the Huey system on it, which is hydraulic electronic unit injection. What that means is that the injector units, it does not have an injector pump like a GM or a lot of them, a lot of the different diesels have the injector. We have a pump, physical mechanical pump. This doesn't have that. This just, it's all controlled by the engine computer, what they call the powertrain control module, and it's controlled by the high pressure oil pump. Sends high pressure oil to the injectors, and when they get a signal to fire, they fire, and there's no pump. So they're each individually doing their thing. Hold tight. Thing I see has got to go out of the way. Got to you wait and see it. Is this thing right here, which is just snapped on around that hose from the looks of it. Yep. Okay, now that exposed. One bolt right here that thankfully they put facing straight up when the wheels are straight, and that's a tensioner, or it squeezes onto the splines on the steering box, so it's a somewhat malleable piece of looks like maybe an aluminum casting, and it's on the end of the rag joint on the steering shaft. This steering shaft goes to the steering wheel, and I'm told that when I undo this bolt, I should be able to just push the steering column back. So I'm gonna film this in its entirety because I'll bet it's just gonna be a pain in the ass. I'm thinking, I could be wrong. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, apologize for that. So I'm gonna try to get that steering shaft out of play here if I can. It's a 13 metric. I should probably be telling you what all these sizes are, I guess, right? I mean, just in case you're crazy enough to try this on your own. Hold on a minute. Okay. There she goes. I don't really want to take it clear out, I don't think. Now, hang on, I get a pry bar. Get my arm out of the camera view here. Can't really pry it that way because that steering hose is in the way. Ugh. You know, it kind of makes me think that, you know, almost think it needs to be disconnected in the column, but what I'm told, it doesn't. It should push back, but it ain't moving. So there's a looks like this telescopes up into this, but I'm just betting it either doesn't and I'm mistaken, or it's seized up to that, but I suppose it won't. Yeah, maybe you know what? Maybe I ought to take that bolt all the way out. Maybe it's in a groove back there. Huh? Maybe it's in a groove back there. Except I can't. Lost my ratchet. Oh, here it is. Okay. Yeah, it's, ooh, shit, that went down the drain. Grab the magnet again. Okay, got it. All right. Now, let's see if that made any difference. Oh, gosh, yes. Oh, the difference. So take the bolt all the way out, folks. Because it's sliding on another set of splines up into the column. At least it was. Now it seems to be stalled. I just don't have a very good place to pry. I don't have a very good pry spot here. I gotta figure out how to. Oh, it's going by hand. All right, see that? Did you see that? Yeah. Anyway, take my word for it. It's out of the way. Okay, column is disconnected. That leaves us with these lines. There's 2 lines on here that need to come off. And I need to get my drain pan because they're probably going to leak power steering fluid, at least for a while. Like I can get on this one with an open end from down here. And after that one's out of the way, this one's even more beefy. I probably get on that one with an open end too. I just don't know if I got enough strength to break them loose with an open end, but hopefully so. But these both have to come off. Open end, break this loose. Let's find the best way to get it in there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, now I need to come clean. I ain't gonna lie to you. I changed this hose about 2 weeks ago. I didn't know, but I learned that if you crank your steering wheel really hard and you stand on it, authorities that I know have told me that the pressure going through the hose goes way up, like skyrockets, I guess. I didn't know that. You hear it when you can hear that hydraulic sound when you're really cranking on your steering wheel. And it went ahead, it's probably gonna leak. I got my pan positioned, kind of think, I hope in the right place. But yeah, it's gonna probably, I gotta get it up out of there though. It comes with the steering pump, the steering box, new steering box comes with new O-rings, and I see the O-ring that was on the end of it is now not there any longer. I'm gonna put it up here, maybe it won't leak so much. Okay, I'm told that pressure in the hose goes way up, and I blew a power steering hose, but in fairness to me, in my ignorance, it had been rubbing on the shock bracket, and so then when I put the new one on, I put both of these high pressure ones new, from the pump to the master cylinder, and likewise back to the, I'm not really sure of how this plumbing all goes, but at any rate, it had been rubbing. So what I did is I put some of this split loom on here and zip tied it so it can't come off, so that it doesn't rub against the shock mount. So that's what I did. So okay, so we got one line off. That was a 14. The next one is bigger. It's a 16. So let's see. This one's the real deal, folks. This one hasn't been undone. Ah, God. I had trouble with the the one a couple weeks ago too. And yeah. Wow. Huh. And I don't think I have a 16 crow's foot. Boy, you don't know, fellas. I wish I could get impact on it, but I got a hose sticking out. I wonder if there's a way I can get a pry bar in the, no. Can't get in there to hammer swing on it neither. But what it does look like is I might be able to at least pull this fender liner up a little bit, maybe. And maybe slip through there and get it, but I gotta take off the, I'd have to take the driver tire off. Power steering, I'm on the nut, but not at a great angle. These two lines are right in the way, and I'm a little worried about monkeying with them too much. Okay, let's see what happens if I put some weight on it. Ah! I knew this wasn't going to be fun at times. Yeah, that ain't worth a shit. Alright, let's try the old, put the second wrench. I might have to get a pipe. I don't know that I have a pipe. At any rate, I went ahead and zip tied that to this other power steering hose that goes to the pump, just to hold it up out of the way. And I don't think this is gonna go because it's too fat. So I need to somehow figure out getting this as AVE, I don't know, the guy that does power tools, AV, he calls himself AVE. This cork stuffer is not wanting to come off, so I need to get some harder force on it somehow. Let's see. Got my jack stand. Handle off my jack. Oh, there it went. There she blows. You get it? Think so. I'm working back and forth a little bit. I hope it doesn't break the line off with it. I suppose that'll be next. Then we'll have to tear the whole friggin' power steering cooler out and change the lines on that. Yeah, it looks like it's twisting the line to me. Problem, man. They don't rust proof stuff with two shits at the factory. They figure at the time a truck's 19 years old, it'll be in the wrecking yard, I guess. And then they want to charge you 75 or 80 grand for an equivalent truck. If that twists that line off of there, I'm going to be really not too happy. Let's keep blasting. Doesn't want to give up easy. Luckily I have, my 2-pound Tanya Harding to swing on it with. The old Tanya Harding, made in China. Oh, I think we got her. Let's see if she lets out the shmoo or breaks off. I really don't relish pulling the whole cooling stack out of it. Just to get, I mean, if I can clean this hose up and reinstall it, that'd be nice. Oh, used the pipe, the only pipe I had that fit the wrench was, that was heavy enough, was part of my jack handle. Still tighter than the son of a bee. I mean, you couldn't turn that with just barely by hand without the pipe. It's really wanting to be a fight to the death. And it's rusty. If I were a rich white Democrat politician, I'd go buy me a brand new Ford Super Duty 2021 model year with every bell and whistle on it. And then I'd bitch about climate change and what burning the demon diesel fuel does to our environment. As I sit here in their record high temps at the end of September in Washington, which is almost unheard of. Oh, here we go. sooner or later that nut'll get most of the surface rust scraped off it. God, it's gotta be damn close by now. Lord have mercy. I'm a sorry sinner, and I deserve this. Is it out? Or is it still fighting? I think it's still fighting. Still see crud coming up out of it. It's binding in the, I don't think in the pump, it's binding on the hose. The nut, the swivel that it's, the stainless hose it's flared onto, it's binding with that. I think the rust is in the hose. Just can't quite get on it easily. But I feel we're close. It's a lot easier to watch this crap on YouTube than do it. Oh, it's out. Let's see what that does. Harder than shit, just like the last thing. Alright, at least we can get this on there though. But excuse me. Yeah, it did her. We got that cork stuffer loose. I don't know if you see what I'm doing here or not. Getting that pitman arm nut off now. This truck is not lifted. I refuse to have a truck. I don't want that crap on my truck. I use my truck. I don't drive it to the fucking mall. I drive it from my home in Washington State all the way to Orlando, Florida every winter. Usually. And I drive it around here, and I go into the mountain passes and go snowmobiling, and I tow my RV with it. The last thing I want is some BS version of a monster truck. That's a kid thing, and I'm an old guy. I don't want that crap on my truck. I hear a lot of the younger guys in the forums saying that they'd love to do a lift setup on their truck, but they're terrified of this pitman arm. Getting this pitman arm off is renowned to be a real pain in the ass. I'll see how bad it's going to be, but I suspect they're not too far from wrong. Yeah, I need to get my whiz wheel out with a wire brush on it and clean some of this stuff before I try to unturn it. Better late than never. Yeah. Oh, you have the hose, you mean? Yeah, I got the hose. Oh, yeah. Nothing to it.
Can I take one of these nailer pads?
Sure.
Got them stacked
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm working on the next big pain in the ass right now. I'm trying to undo the tie rod, which the surface rust is making things not pleasant. Almost there. .15 metric impact rated socket. I grease my truck every oil change. Okay, so at least the tie rod ends are at least well greased. Okay. Whoops. Go the right way the first time might help. Okay. See if it falls out now. Almost! Oop, here comes the schmoo. Where's my bull? Climb under and see if I can't muscle it out of here. Where the hell is it? Oh shit, it's right there. Yeah. There she blows. Yeah. There she blows, matey. Wipe up some of this dripping transmission / power steering oil. Ford uses, this truck uses ATF. Dexmer or Mercon 5, Mercon 3, whatever your flavor is. It's what it uses for power steering fluid, so it's just ATF. Right? Can't see what I'm doing. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, right there. There we are. Just like a hunting shot.